Hi everybody, I'm Art and this is Maeve.
Maeve is a 2018 Tesla Model X 75D, so she's almost 6 years old at this point. Nonetheless, Maeve is equipped with version 3 of Tesla's full self-driving computer, and just a couple of days ago, she downloaded FSD Beta version 12.3.4.
Maeve and I have been testing FSD Beta for 2 years now, and over the past 24 months, we've seen a lot of updates to FSD Beta. But version 12 is supposed to be special.
FSD Beta version 12 apparently represents a major leap from the previous FSD versions because version 12 is supposed to replace over 300,000 lines of C++ code with a single end-to-end neural network. In other words, if I am understanding what I've read about version 12, the car will now essentially be using artificial intelligence to think its way through the various situations that it encounters as it's driving, as opposed to relying on a bunch of if this, then that style of programming.
Now, over the past 2 years, Maeve and I have encountered a number of different situations in and around the town of Newmarket, Ontario that have consistently stumped Maeve when driving under FSD Beta.
It's not your fault.
Today, I'm going to take her through a series of torture tests to see if she's still stumped by these situations using version 12. Let's see how she does.
Well, all right, here we go. Our first test run of FSD Beta version 12. The specific version that I am running is 12.3.4. I'm going to engage it now and take it through its first little torture test. Navigate to the Magna Center on Mulock Drive. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is how FSD Beta version 12 responds to the bus lane that runs down the middle of Yonge Street here in Newmarket. Now, it has always had a problem with this bus lane. It never fails to try to turn into the bus lane in order to carry out a left turn, because the bus lane is running down the middle of the road. So if you're turning left, it seems like it's the most leftward lane, and so it always tries to pull into that lane in order to execute a left turn. It's a little hesitant here. It really should have gone. It had plenty of time and space to turn right now. It's using its pillar cameras to look down here and look at the traffic coming towards us. It had a nice opening there, and for some reason it just didn't go. So I'm not getting any warnings here to jiggle the steering wheel. Now, that was a funny choice. The way was clear, but there was a car kind of blocking my view, so I didn't feel that secure. Now, this is an improvement. Another thing that it often did is it wouldn't pull into this lane, this left turn lane, until the last moment, and it would often, decide to merge into this lane after the traffic was already backed up. So that right away is a nice improvement that I'm seeing. It didn't do it all the time, but it did it most of the time. You can see a bus going down this bus lane right now, just so you can understand what I'm talking about. The buses in Newmarket, at least along the main arteries of Yonge Street that runs north-south, and Davis Drive that runs east-west, the bus lanes are in the middle of the road, which is actually really handy for them. They have their own set of turn signals and everything. Now, we've got a yellow light. What is it going to do? It is going to stop. All right. Unfortunately, this is not a good test because there was a bus sitting there. So I'm gonna have to run that again to confirm whether or not it would have tried to pull into this lane without a bus there. Okay, good. Again, it's moved over into this lane in good time. I do see a bus coming back there. I'm hoping we can get through this turn. It has not even suggested a desire to move into the bus lane. Before, you could always see it scheming, you know, with the visualization. You could see it's wanting to get in that lane. It did not go into the bus lane. Didn't even try, didn't want to. That's great. One test is not good enough, so I'm going to do that again. Going northbound, and I'll turn left and see if it goes for the bus lane. All right, so that's the kind of thing that it would tend to do every now and then. All right, what's it going to do? It's getting in the bus lane. Darn it, failure. Failure. Now, admittedly, there's no markings here telling us that it's a bus lane. There's markings up here. So maybe it just couldn't see that. No, it's still trying. See, you can see here how it tries to scheme to get into the bus lane. So that's a failure. That's a failure. And I'm going to try to force it to go through a roundabout here. Now it has been fine at doing roundabouts, but not this one. This one has always greatly confused it. So there's nobody around here. I'm just going to put my hazard lights on here and ask it to go to Tim Hortons. Look at that. It heard me say that and it did it. Yeah, I mean, it suggested a bunch of Tim Hortons. All right, so Tim Hortons is right there. Still confused. All right, so a failure on that one. As you can see, it should just drive right up to this roundabout in front of us, go through it, and go to Tim Hortons. But instead, it wants to do this crazy stuff. Let's see what it does. I'll get the hazard lights off here. I mean, that's a really weird way to do this. And as a matter of fact, we've got a car here. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. What's this? Wait a minute. It's going through the roundabout. It's going through the roundabout perfectly. Whoa, okay. Maybe that wasn't so perfect right there. But it went through the... I tell you, I swear to you, it's never done that before. This is a version 12 thing, and that, to my understanding, is exactly what version 12 is supposed to do. It's supposed to think its way through various situations instead of executing a bunch of lines of code that say, if this, then that. So those lines of code never worked over there. They always plotted that weird route and it would try to do it. And even when I would drive it right into that roundabout, it wouldn't do it. It wouldn't know what to do. It was just so confused about that particular roundabout. Other roundabouts were fine, but that one always gave it trouble. Apparently not anymore.
Success.
All right, next test. Nice. Okay, so let me show you what I want to do here. I want to make the car turn left at this intersection. Turn left from Yonge Street onto St. John's Side Road. Now, why do I want to do this? Because every single time you try to turn left here, right before the point where you would normally get into the left lane to turn left, it moves over into the far right lane. And then at the very last moment, it realizes, oh, I'm in the right lane. I guess I should be in the left lane. But of course it can't. There's nothing it can do about it at that point in time, because it can't drive sideways. And even if it could, there'd be a line of traffic already there to turn left. So let's see how it does now, because there's just no rational reason why the car should want to move into the right lane right ahead of a left turn. It almost never does that, but it always does it at this intersection. So if it stops doing it now, again, that will be, I think, a genuine indication that version 12, FSD Beta version 12, is a major step up from all the previous versions. I guess I can't say all the previous versions. My first version of FSD Beta that I downloaded into the car was 10.1 something, I think, back in March of 2022. So I had several versions of FSD Beta version 10, and then several versions of FSD Beta 11. This is supposed to be different. This is supposed to be the neural network driving the car, not a bunch of lines of C++ code. So nothing logical would think to move into the right lane in order to turn left. No logical entity would do that. So let's see how this does now. Okay, nicely done. I'm still half waiting for it to scoot over to the right. But no, it had no, I did not notice any inclination, nothing in the visualization where it shows you, the anticipated pathway that it expects to take. Nothing was scheming to get over into the right lane here. Yeah, real nice left turn. That's just normal. I mean, that's what it normally does at intersections. Again, it didn't jump lanes. That's very nice. The speed, the lane keeping is all very nice.
A toast.
So I want to take us down this stretch of Yonge Street, because it's always been horrible at ping-ponging lanes along that stretch. So hopefully it will replot a course. Good, here we are. All right, so I've engaged FSD, and it's nagging me, as it is known to do. The nag, as of the last version of version 11, whatever that was, I can't remember, started really, immediately, as soon as you engage FSD, immediately it nags you. Now it should be going here. As a human being, I can see that we've got people turning left here, people turning left there, so I've you know, it's nice and clear for me here. So it seemed to figure that out eventually. Maybe just it took longer than I think it would take a human. So this is the stretch. I call it Ping Pong Alley. So normally in this short stretch, what have I got here before we have to turn off? 600 meters, and it would just be bouncing back and forth. It would bounce back and forth like, I don't know, a good 2 or 3 times. But we're going to be turning right, so logically it should just stick in this lane. I should mention something. While the camera was off, I realized, I thought, well, I'm going to change from assertive all the way down to chill there. See here, chill. And I wondered if that might prevent it from racing up to, you know, the back of a car that's stopped at a traffic light like this. Like right now, it's slowing down, and I'm still not happy with how close to the car it creeps up. But technically, it is right at the point where, you know, whatever it was, Young Drivers of Canada, or driver's education courses, they tell you that, you know, just stop so that you can see the tires, where the tires are touching the ground for the car in front of you. And I can see those tires and I can see where they're touching the ground. So technically, it's a great distance, I suppose. But just personally, I guess I'm more cautious, so I usually like leave a car length. But if you're driving in the city and you're used to dealing with traffic congestion, I don't think too many people would appreciate cars leaving, you know, a full car length in front of them. So, you know, it's a safe distance, I suppose, and it's also a courteous distance in that you're not going to take up more space on the road than you need to. So, I think we can declare victory here with torture test number 4. There was absolutely no ping-ponging of lanes down Ping Pong Alley. Let's see how it deals with this. This has given it trouble in the past. There's a bike lane here separating the right turn lane, and it's always a bit hesitant. It's always a bit cautious about what to do there. But then eventually it goes, oh yeah, I guess I have to get in the right lane here. So it crosses over the bike lane and it moves into the right lane. So that was kind of normal. That wasn't really any different than usual. But the lack of ping-ponging back and forth between the right lane and the left lane on Yonge Street there, that's a dramatic difference. Even though it seemed so uneventful, you know, just a normal drive along a road, for some reason it used to always, without exception, it would ping pong back and forth between those lanes. I'll leave a link here to the video. They're doing a good job here, you know, recognizing those folks crossing the street, and now it's going. Yeah, I'll leave a link up here to that video so you can see what I'm talking about, where, you know, it used to insist on ping-ponging back and forth between those lanes. And that's been a point of frustration since the beginning of FSD Beta. I think every beta tester would agree to that there's just all these irrational, unexplainable lane changes that the car engages in. And strangely enough, it will engage in those unexplained lane changes at the same place, constantly at the same place, especially if you're navigating somewhere. There is a slight difference. You'll notice it's waiting for this lady crossing the street. That's great. Now I'm just going to turn in here. Yeah, I was going to say there is a slight difference between driving down a certain section of road when you're navigating to a particular destination, like we were. Let's say I navigate to what I call work. It's the Magna Center because I go there so often. So the car will behave differently if it's navigating somewhere as opposed to just, let's call it pleasure driving, where it's driving under FSD Beta, but you actually have not entered a destination into the navigation system. In those cases, when it's driving using FSD Beta, but you have not entered a destination, it doesn't tend to do those strange, inexplicable lane changes. But when you are navigating somewhere, which is strange because if it knows where it's going, then you'd think it would pick the logical lane to get in and then stay there. But anyways, if you are navigating somewhere, that tends to be when it starts engaging in these strange, inexplicable lane changes. But apparently not anymore. I've taken it along a few different places where, I guess 3 in total, where it used to indulge itself in these weird lane changes, and it hasn't done any of that today for any of these various torture tests that I've put it through. I should point out that I did repeat each of the tests that I showed you in this video, and it did very well through each of them. The Roundabout is fine. It no longer engages in weird lane changes. All that seems to have been fixed with FSD Beta version 12. So that's really great. People are going to love that. Beta testers have unanimously hated those inexplicable lane changes. So there you go. That problem might be solved. I might be wrong. It's early days yet, but it looks to me at this point like those strange lane changes have been dealt with version 12. So that's great. Hey, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one.